Welcome to the land of Oz.
Hello and welcome to another review on Anime Everyday. In this video, I'll be reviewing the anime movie Summer Wars. On first glance, the movie Summer Wars doesn't really look like anything too special. Neither the title or the box art really give away any of the plot or the themes. If you're unfamiliar with the director, then you could easily just pass this movie off as a generic story about a group of friends' summer holiday. If by any chance you're watching this video to confirm the suspicion, then I can tell you, you're very, very mistaken. Summer Wars is one of the few movies where I can say, just go watch it. Regardless of your tastes or age, Summer Wars can be enjoyed and appreciated by everyone. Now, if you're watching this to hear my more in-depth opinion on the movie, then I'll get right into it. There's quite a lineup behind the movie of Summer Wars. Directed by Mamoru Hosoda, the creator of, in my opinion, one of the greatest films of all time, Wolf Children, and animated by Madhouse, the creators of countless brilliant anime. As you can imagine, my expectations going into this film were very high, and I can tell you, this movie did not disappoint. The story follows our main character Kenji Koiso. He plans to spend his break staying in and programming with his friend, but his plans are suddenly changed when the most perfect girl in school, Natsuki Shinohara, asks him to accompany her to the 90th birthday party of her grandmother. He nervously accepts but has no idea how eventful the next week or so will be. This part of the story is done really quickly, which is actually quite nice as Kenji's high school life really isn't that interesting, and probably wouldn't be that entertaining to watch. I was quite surprised by how quick they jumped through this part of the film, but it worked out really well. I think it's something I actually like to see in more anime films. So they arrive at Natsuki's grandmother's house, and Kenji is slowly introduced to the huge family. I won't go any more into how they build up the family, as that's probably one of the most enjoyable parts of the film, but I can say they pulled it off very well. There are a lot of characters and personalities to take in all at once, but they made you feel as if you were there at the party and were getting to know the family. This is where the story takes a turn. Overnight, a network called Oz that pretty much runs the whole country is shut down without any explanation. Everything stops working and a number of problems arise. The family need to work together and try and survive this terrible disaster, and I'll let you watch and enjoy the rest for yourself. Summer Wars is a story about how we as a society rely way too much on the internet. Oz in the movie represents the internet. We're shown what could happen if one day the internet was suddenly taken away from us. Obviously the movie over-exaggerates the scale of the problem, but it does have a lot of realistic situations. So the story never really left the boundaries of the house, even though they were dealing with a nationwide problem. You would think this would underwhelm the story, but there was more than enough going on inside the house to keep it well paced and exciting. Although the story did get a bit cliche at times, especially the ending, it was an enjoyable experience. Summer Wars probably has one of the biggest casts in any anime movie I've seen. Not only are there so many characters, but each character has their own personality. Even if some characters only had a few lines throughout the whole movie, you really felt like they were all very important pieces to the family. If I were to go into every single important character, then this review would go on for way too long. So I'll go into some of the characters that I felt were most important, starting with the grandmother of the family, Saki Junuchi. She creates some of the best scenes in the whole movie. Despite her frail age, she ends up contributing a lot to the story. She acts as the leader, the head of the family, and really unites the whole family. She is of course the reason everybody is gathered there. You could say Kazuma Ekizawa was more of a main character than her actual main character. He definitely has more of an important role than Kenji. Although Kazuma might not be the most interesting character, he does create some brilliant scenes, and is quite likeable as a character towards the end. Another very important character to the plot would be Wabusuke. He has been kicked out of the family due to something that happened in the past, and you can tell there's a lot of tension between him and the other family members. Though you do sympathise with him, you feel like he would rather be part of the family, although he might not show it. Like I said, there are just way too many great characters to go through, so just take my word. Pretty much every character in the family is very well written and all the character designs are very unique. They obviously spent a lot of time making the family a main focus and it turned out brilliantly. The characters are definitely one of the best attributes to Summer Wars. So I'm going to divide the animation into two different sections. One for the real world and one for the world of Oz. The art styles for both are completely different and it would be stupid to put them in the same category, so the animation for the real world looked splendid. The backgrounds were very high quality and detailed. The majority of the scenes were set in the countryside, so there was a lot of opportunities for some great looking landscape shots. They managed to create a very memorable setting for the movie, with brilliantly made backgrounds and scenery. Now the world of Oz was animated in a completely different art style. There was a lot of 3D shots and everything was made to look more sci-fi. I actually think I prefer Oz's art style. Although it wasn't as visually detailed as the real world, it had a very unique art style. They used a lot of 3D animation in the Oz scenes, and it did fit very nicely. Since they were trying to build a world that was meant to be computer generated, the 3D animation looked really nice. The world of Oz opened the opportunity for some epic fight scenes, which just couldn't have happened in the real world. Obviously the fight scenes were animated really well, with a lot of action and great choreography. The character designs for the world of Oz were great. With Oz being a digital world, they really had limitless possibilities when it came to character design, and they really made the most of that. The soundtrack, composed by Akihito Matsumoto, was marvellous. You can tell they put a lot of time and money into creating the soundtrack, and it turned out great. Of course, like the animation, the soundtrack had to change quite a bit for the world of Oz. The soundtrack had a very classical orchestral sound for the real world, but inside the world of Oz we got a really atmospheric techno sound. It needed to be something very powerful to immerse us into Oz, and it did an excellent job. Summer Wars was a very enjoyable movie. The story might not have been that deep and thought-provoking, but it was really enjoyable. The characters were very fun to watch and the variation that Oz gave us was great. Overall, this was a really great movie. I wouldn't say it was as good as Wolf Children, but I don't think it was trying to be as serious. If you haven't watched Summer Wars already, I would highly recommend buying it on DVD or Blu-ray. I hope you enjoyed my review of Summer Wars. If you did, leaving a like or sharing the video would be very appreciated. And if you want to see more of my reviews, you can click the subscribe button or click on any of the links on the screen. Thank you very much for watching guys, and I'll see you guys in the next review.